This podcast is an invitation to feel and experience the souls of famous old Hollywood homes and to have an in-depth journey to the areas where they're located through interviews with longtime residents. Either you're a fan of old Hollywood in Los Angeles, planning to have a vacation, or, an even bigger step, considering a certain area for your future home. This is your opportunity to receive valuable information and insightful advice you won't find anywhere else.
Hello, and welcome to my podcast. Are you in the mood for California? Today we'll feel and experience Malibu Lake with wonderful Ramin Mortazavi.
Malibu Lake is a gem. It is such a unique place, and we have a lot of them in Southern California and all of California. But this little area here, is right in the middle of the Santa Monica Mountains between Malibu and Agoura Hills. Technically, it's LA County, and it's just such a unique place. The best I can describe it is like a miniature Big Bear with ocean air.
Masha Korpacheva is a California-based realtor and a member of the National Association of Realtors in Los Angeles. She's an advocate for selling and buying homes with soul and practicing mindfulness in real estate. With master's degrees in spiritual psychology and linguistics, Masha brings all of her skills to work with her clients. An intuit and empath, she has touched many lives with her outstanding ability to see beyond the visible and helping to come to better understanding of issues and their resolutions. An adventurous world traveler, from climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania to exploring the Galapagos Islands, Masha has a particular passion for the City of Angels. Having landed in this paradise and adopted it as her home, she's been sharing old Hollywood stories since 2007. In the mood for California, feel the soul of old Hollywood.
And now, are you ready to experience Malibu Lake? Malibu Lake, located in the Santa Monica Mountains, is a unique and historically significant area that offers both natural beauty and a rich past. The lake itself was created in 1926 as part of a development project by a group of Hollywood investors. They were seeking to establish a picturesque retreat away from the hustle of Los Angeles, which at the time was rapidly growing. The lake was originally constructed as a private reservoir to provide water for a planned upscale community known as Malibu Lake and to serve as a recreational area. Long before the construction of the lake, however, the land was home to the Chumash people who inhabited the region for thousands of years. The Chumash were deeply connected to the land, utilizing its resources for food, shelter, and spiritual practices. Evidence of their presence can still be found in the area today, with several archaeological sites around Malibu Creek State Park revealing artifacts such as tools, pottery, and rock art. For the Chumash, Malibu Creek was a vital water source, and the land's natural beauty continues to hold a deep spiritual significance. The development of Malibu Lake marked a new chapter in the region's history. The project was conceived in part by early Hollywood pioneers, including famous figures like the director and producer Max Youngstein. Malibu Lake became known as a place where the Hollywood elite could escape for weekend getaways, combining leisure with luxury. As a result, the area attracted famous figures like Charlie Chaplin, who had a home in nearby Malibu and would often visit the lake, as well as other Hollywood icons like Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks. Its close proximity to Hollywood made it a desirable spot for many actors and filmmakers who sought the tranquility of nature, far from the public eye, but close enough to Hollywood to remain connected to the entertainment industry. Many of these early Hollywood visitors enjoyed boating, fishing, and picnicking on the shores of the lake, while some even built small cottages or bungalows. The area's appeal as a retreat for the rich and famous also made it a popular filming location. Malibu Lake and its surroundings appeared in a variety of classic Hollywood films and television shows, including the 1936 film The Texan, which used the lake as one of its stunning backdrops. Over the years, the lake became synonymous with the glamour and allure of old Hollywood, cementing its place in cinematic history. Nearby, Paramount Ranch, established in the 1920s, played a key role in Hollywood history as well. Originally, it was a movie ranch developed by Paramount Pictures to serve as a versatile filming location. Its scenic landscapes, including rolling hills and rustic structures, made it ideal for a variety of genres, particularly westerns. In the 1950s, the ranch became home to a famous Western town set, which appeared in numerous films and television shows, including The Cisco Kid and The Gunsmoke. The ranch also hosted iconic TV series like Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, and The Wild Wild West, becoming a staple location for westerns and period dramas. After being sold by Paramount in 1980, the ranch was acquired by the National Park Service in 1989 as part of the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area. Today, it remains open to the public, offering visitors a chance to explore its historic Western town set, hike the trails, and learn about its role in Hollywood history. The ranch's combination of cinematic legacy and natural beauty continues to make it a popular destination for film buffs and nature enthusiasts alike. Malibu Lake is still a treasured spot, valued for its scenic beauty, ecological importance, and deep connection to California's cinematic, cultural, and spiritual history. Its role in Hollywood's golden age, combined with its environmental significance and its status as a historical landmark, makes it a place where both the past and present come together in a stunning natural setting. And here we are. Welcome to Malibu Lake. I'm so excited to have Ramin Mortazavi here with me. Ramin Mortazavi has worked in film and television for nearly 3 decades, the son of a media mogul who founded the Sepas Film Awards in Iran. Ramin was destined for a career in entertainment. After earning a bachelor's degree in broadcasting from Arizona State University in 1997, he interned on shows like Entertainment Tonight and the Leeza Gibbons Show, and worked on the film Freeway. This led to producing commercials, including for the Orleans Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. In 2000, he associate produced the indie film 21, which won Kodak's Best Picture at the Rhode Island International Film Festival. His brother, Joubin Mortazavi, an Emmy-nominated editor for Survivor, wrote and produced the film. In 2002, Ramin transitioned to post-production, freelancing as an editor on hit shows such as Punk'd, Pimp My Ride, The Hills, New Beginnings, Siesta Key, Shahs of Sunset, Botched, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Orange County, and Vanderpump Rules. His work on Vanderpump Rules Season 10 earned the show 2 Emmy nominations, including one for Ramin in Outstanding Picture Editing for an Unstructured Reality Program. Ramin will share with us what it feels like to live in Malibu Lake. Hello, Ramin.
Hi, Masha.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And I'm so grateful to have you as my guest today. When my very good friend Roger suggested that I should definitely have an interview with you for my podcast, I was very excited because I really, really trust her. And thank you so much for agreeing.
Well, thank you for having me, and I appreciate Raja introducing us. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and thanks for having me on.
Of course, of course. So, Ramin, you live in this absolutely magical area, which is Malibu Lake, and maybe be willing to share what it's like to live there, and maybe you'll be able to describe the vibe of the area and what actually drew you to this community in the first place.
Yes, absolutely. Malibu Lake is a gem. It is such a unique place, and we have a lot of them in Southern California and in all of California. But this little area here, is right in the middle of the Santa Monica Mountains between Malibu and Agoura Hills. Technically, it's LA County, and it's just such a unique place. The best I can describe it is like a miniature Big Bear with ocean air. Yeah, it's just hidden in the middle of the mountains, a little bit close to everything, 20 minutes from Malibu, 15 minutes from Agoura Hills. It's got a very laid back vibe, very unique neighborhood, and yeah, it's amazing. It's been around for about 100 years, I believe. It was started in 1922, and yeah, the lake was actually formed in 1925 or 26 after a storm. So originally, it never had a lake. It was just merging with some creeks, and finally, the lake was formed after a big storm that they had. But yeah, it's been around here for a long time. Not too many people know about it, but yeah, it's got a very artsy vibe to it, very kind of similar to, if some people are familiar with Topanga, a little bit like a Topanga Canyon vibe, a little bit Ojai, but it's a very unique environment.
Yes, it sounds like it, and it also sounds very poetic the way you described it. A big bear with ocean air, such a beautiful phrase.
Yes, I remember the first night I woke up to this place. For a second I thought I had gone on a vacation rental in Big Bear. So it's a beautiful place.
Yes. So how did you come across this place, and what prompted you to move there?
I never knew about this place until about 22 years ago. My brother got married. Malibu Lake has a clubhouse, which is one of the original structures that they built in this community. And so, they have weddings there, they have parties there, and all kinds of things. So the first time I learned about it was for my brother's wedding, and I came to this area that was, had a lake, and it was just so unique looking, and I never forgot about it. And so years later, almost 15 years later, my girlfriend was looking for a house. And we were house hunting, and we found this, and we just couldn't believe it that after all these years we came back to this very unique community. And yeah, that's how I found it. So like I said, it's right off the 101 freeway off Canaan, and not too many people know about it.
Yes, and this is what happens with some neighborhoods in Los Angeles, is that if you are touched by some area and you fall in love with it, then eventually, one way or another, you'll just end up living there.
Yes, absolutely. There were many areas like that, and and this happened to be ours. It was just it's amazing, and we love it. It's surrounded by nature, lots of hiking trails. Paramount Ranch is next to Malibu Lake. Paramount Ranch, for those of you who don't know, it was It was actually owned by Paramount Studios. At one point, it was owned by, I believe, by Fox Studios and then Paramount. And they do a lot of films there. And they actually do a lot of films right here in Malibu Lake. You know, there's been a lot of movies filmed here.
It sounds very special. And maybe you'll be willing to share some of your favorite spots and maybe some hidden gems in Malibu Lake that you love to visit or spend time at.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Malibu Lake. First of all, if you're into hiking, you know, one of the trails that we have takes you to the MASH site for, you know, MASH was a very popular television show that ran for 11 seasons in the late 70s and mid 80s. And they still have a lot of the set there. They never removed it.
Wow.
So it's kind of unique. You take a hike and you see everything there. And other local gems. The old place was opened in 1970 by the Runyon family. So people that live in Hollywood and Hollywood Hills, you know, they go running and hiking on Runyon Canyon.
Yes.
Yes. So it's that family. And it was Tom Runyon that started the old place, opened the old place in 1970. And it's been a family business. And now his son, Morgan, has taken it over. And that's a local gem. It's a beautiful, beautiful. It looks like a old saloon, you know, great food, great ambiance. And right next to it is a winery, Cornell Winery. And so, yeah, and across the street from it is Peter Strauss Ranch, where they have a lot of outdoor concerts and events. And it's just a really, really cool, unique community. And even Paramount Ranch, you know, they have outdoor movies and all kinds of events there as well. And so those are some of the local gems. But I mean, for us living here in Malibu Lake, you know, the old place is where we all go.
Yes.
That's our Saturday and Sunday. We just kind of hang out there and enjoy company. It's a very tight-knit community, so everybody knows each other. And so when you go to the old place, you know, you see friends and your neighbors, and they also have a lot of, you know, clubs like the Porsche clubs, the BMW clubs, the motorcycles. So, you know, on the weekends, it's a great place to just hang out and people watch.
It sounds like it. And I don't think you ever have to leave this place because it looks like you have everything you need.
You really do. You really do. It's a great, great place. I even forgot to mention the Rock Store, which is the Rock Store is a very popular biker bar not too far away from the old place. So it's a really cool place. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. And I must say that it must have been such a long way, you know, for you to find yourself in Malibu Lake because your story is quite remarkable as you immigrated from Iran at the age of 8 with your parents. And maybe you could share a little bit about this experience and how it shaped you both personally and professionally as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So I was born in Iran, Tehran, Iran. And my father was a very successful film producer. And he was kind of like a media mogul. He had his hands in everything from films to magazines. He had 2 of the biggest publishing magazines in Iran. And he also created the Academy Awards in Iran.
Oh, wow.
So he created Iran's version of the Oscars. So in 1978, when some of the civil unrest started happening, you know, we left. We thought, you know, it was a temporary situation. At least my parents thought it was a temporary situation. So we came to Los Angeles to wait till the civil unrest quieted down a little bit. And you know, it never happened. So there was a revolution. And so, yeah, we came here. Nobody spoke English or anything. It was definitely a struggle. And eventually, you know, my dad had to say, okay, I guess we're staying here for a while. So he, you know, we rented a place and we came with no money. So he actually had to go back to Iran to sell some of his assets. And unfortunately, it hit the hostage crisis, the American hostage crisis, and he could not come back. So he was not allowed to come back to the United States during the hostage crisis. And, you know, fortunately, he had some family that lived in, including a brother that lived in Paris, France. And so he was stuck for a couple of years and with my mom and, you know, 2 little kids, no English. And it was a struggle. So, you know, all that said, it definitely helped kind of thicken our skin, as you were saying. You know, it was very difficult growing up in that environment, and there was a lot of animosity towards Iranians because of the American hostage crisis. So yeah, but you know, it shaped us to who we are. You know, toughened us up a little bit. And when my father eventually came back, you know, he pursued what his passions were, which was writing and films, and try to you know, show films and things like that. And how that translated to my brother and I in terms of the entertainment business. You know, first of all, we always loved the business because of my father. But my father was very much against it. You know, his idea was, you know, look who I used to be in my home country, and now I'm not to say I'm nobody, but I have to start from scratch. And you know, the industry was not for him because he didn't know the language anymore. So he was very much against it. But you know, my brother and I kind of pursued our passions anyway, and you know, we're fortunate enough to been working in the entertainment industry.
Right, right. So, do you now feel fully that Los Angeles, or America rather, is your true home?
Absolutely. You know, I mean, first of all, I love California. I love LA. And being in the entertainment industry and having a love for the entertainment industry, especially movies and television, there's no better place for it. You know, I grew up in Hollywood. And so to be anywhere near the studios, the major studios, the you know, where the old celebrities used to hang out. You know, before there was a Beverly Hills, there used to be Los Feliz. That's where everybody, all the celebrities used to live. And yeah, I just love the history of this city, the architecture, the old movie business. And so, yeah, I love it here, you know, and of course, having the natural beauty of the mountains and the snow and the ocean and the desert all nearby within a couple of hours is truly is the greatest place in this country, in my opinion.
Yes, yes, I absolutely agree with you. I feel the same way. It's so true. And Ramin, so it was because of your father that you got interested in the movie business because that's what you were exposed to when you were a child. And after 20 years in the industry here in the US, you received your first Emmy nomination for Outstanding Picture Editing for an Unstructured Reality Program. What does this recognition mean to you? And how did you actually feel when you found out that you were nominated?
It's an honor to be nominated for anything to begin with, but especially an Emmy. It was truly an honor because, you know, in our profession as television editors, you know, that's basically the Oscars of the television industry.
Yes.
So that's the top of our game. And to be honest with you, I didn't know if I was ever going to be nominated. My brother was been nominated 11 times. He's an editor on Survivor.
Wow.
And so I never thought I'd be nominated. But when I was, it was definitely pretty amazing. And it was at an awkward place. I was actually having a sitting in a parking lot, getting ready for my root canal. And in Atlanta, Georgia, because I was working remotely from there. And then, yes, it was announced. And yeah, it was a very surreal moment, especially when all the texts started happening from people that I haven't heard of in a long time and friends and family. So it was an amazing moment.
Yes, yes. And especially because when people get nominated or when they win certain awards, nobody truly knows what is behind this award and how many years this person, had been working on something, and how many sleepless nights maybe they spent, and like how much they dreamed of being successful or maybe leaving a certain mark. And then you're nominated, and there is just this one moment that everybody sees you, but they only see kind of like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, yeah. It's you work, like you said, over 20 years, and I've done some really cool stuff. And you never know, I mean, every time you work on something, you hope that it's nominated, that it's acknowledged and recognized. And for the most part, it doesn't happen. And when it does, yeah, it's very rewarding. And when I actually went to the Emmys, to see the vast amounts of amazing work out there, and those were the ones that were nominated, and you factor in all the shows that weren't, it really is an honor to be nominated. I had worked on very popular things, like, Punked for all 8 seasons. I had done documentary on elephant poaching, ivory wars. There were things that I thought, okay, maybe I'll get nominated, maybe I won't get nominated, but for it to finally happen, yeah, it was a special moment, and I was very honored.
Yeah, yeah,
We didn't win, but it's okay, because, like I said, it was amazing just to be there.
I understand, yes. And also, being an editor, you sometimes have projects that are very different as far as their tones and styles. Like, for example, you did not mention the shows like Freeway 21 that you also edited, and Vanderpump Rules. So how do you approach projects like this? So does your process of editing change from one genre to another?
Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, the process is kind of the same in terms of how you approach it. At the end of the day, you're trying to tell the best story that you can. Now, there are different projects, so there's going to be a little bit variation. Punked, for example, which was early in my career, was a hidden camera prank show, with Ashton Kutcher, and so that was a very popular show, but it was a hidden camera show. And so your approach to it was to make it as funny as possible or as dramatic as possible. So some of those elements don't really change. When I cut Vanderpump Rules, we want to make sure the drama's there. Or, when I'm right now, working on the Housewives of Beverly Hills, you kind of make sure that the drama and the storytelling are accurate. You're being very authentic. But yeah, sometimes it depends. There are different variations. I, again, to go back to Ivory Wars, that was a documentary about the elephant poaching of ivory in Kenya, and and that's very, it was very disturbing footage to watch. And but the process doesn't really change drastically. Or you're just trying to tell different stories in whatever genre it is. But the approach is kind of the same for the most part. You're approaching it the same way, which is you're gonna either tell the funniest story possible, the most dramatic, the most touching, heartwarming. That doesn't really change.
Right, right. And throughout your career, you have edited so many various shows, and we've mentioned some of them in our conversation right now. So, is there any specific episode or maybe scene that comes to your mind that you're especially proud of?
Well, Ivory Wars was a 3-part special, and that was very close to my heart because, ivory poaching has been an ongoing problem in the world. And to see these majestic animals being slaughtered for their ivory, not only was it kind of senseless, it was just, you just felt helpless.
Yeah.
For me, that was very personal to kind of bring, shed some light to what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I would love to say that it's gone away, but it hasn't. It still happens. So that was very personal to me. And with Vanderpump Rules, since that was what I was nominated for an Emmy for, my very first episode 302, it was a fight scene at a bar. I had no idea who these people were. I was just new to the show, and I just thought this is best cast I've been on in a very long time. But when it comes to Vanderpump Rules, I think the episode that was my favorite was the season finale of last season, or season 10, I should say, where the whole Tom Sandoval, as we know it today, Scandoval, came about. And that episode, because of the way it came together last minute, and because there was so much emotion riding in it, it was a completely different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Previous episodes where you just played it authentically and very raw, and so that was probably, those are some of the 2 or 3 favorite moments of mine from some of the projects I've worked on.
Oh, very nice. Thank you so much for sharing. And Ramin, what actually keeps you passionate about storytelling and editing? Where do you keep finding inspiration to continue honing your craft?
Projects are important. I love storytelling. So for me, the types of shows that I work on tend to be more of the story related things, such as, a lot of people hate this term, but docu-soaps, docu-series. So, for example, Vanderpump Rules, Housewives of Beverly Hills, Kardashians, these are the types of shows I'm talking about. Another genre of reality is competition, elimination. There's, renovation shows. For me, I like the storytelling, the docu-series. And so that, and the inspiration is just to tell good stories. I've been fortunate enough to be working on some long running series. Beverly Hills is approaching its 14th season, and I've worked on Orange County, which is 16 seasons, and Vanderpump 11, 12 seasons. So the cast is what makes it great. So that just keeps it fresh season after season. So for me, the cast is what keeps me going. As long as the cast is good, which they all are, there's good news stories to tell.
Yes, yes. Wow, that's so beautiful. And Ramin, my next question to you: if you could go back in time to when you first started in television editing, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
I'd be probably a couple of advices. One would be to learn multiple softwares. Certain softwares, obviously besides the editing software, a lot of the other types of software, such as Photoshop, After Effects, just learn different things, because eventually some of them you're going to need. And also it helps with your marketability, when it comes to finding different projects, because at the end of the day, we're all freelancers. And so the more marketable, the more the more marketable you are. And then as an editor, as a young editor starting out, you get attached to a lot of things, whether it's a piece of music that you really love, or an effect that you used, or, a camera angle that you use, whatever it might be, or a specific moment. And so you get attached, especially as an editor, you get attached to these moments. And what you don't realize is that there's a large amount of note process that it goes through, from internally, from producers to executive producers to the network to multi-executives at the network level. And so a lot of times, a lot of the things that you like, might either get altered or not make it to the final episode eventually. And so as a young guy, a young editor starting off, you get attached to these moments, and, this is a collaboration. And so I think I would give myself the advice not to be too attached to too many things.
Right. Yeah, because when it's teamwork, and especially when the actual story comes from another place, and you're also part of the instrument that, puts it together, like, you basically cannot make like certain choices, because like other people are in charge of those. So I would see how it can be pretty unnerving.
Yeah, I mean, the creative process is, there's a lot of people involved, and so it's not just an editor's vision or a producer's vision. It's a collaborative medium, and so the more you can collaborate, and and you accept that, then it wouldn't bother you so much. I remember when I had just gotten into it the first few years, I would really get upset when I would get noted on something. And but right now it's not a problem at all. It's just, we make, everybody's trying to do the best that they can to make the best product possible. And sometimes, what you like is not going to make it.
Yes, very true. Well, your life journey has been quite incredible, from Iran all the way to Los Angeles, and having to deal with your father being gone for a couple of years, as you mentioned, and also living through the animosity because of the hostage crisis. And you've done really well for yourself. Now that you were nominated, so you were acknowledged by certain authorities that you can do your work really well, and that you have worked on so many different projects. So my wish to you is to continue sculpting in time, because for me this is what editing is. And without editors, we would not have this complete story that we can just push the button and see like the whole thing. And it's such an incredible collaboration of so many different humans, from cast, as you mentioned, to people who imagine those stories and write them, to directors and producers and editors. And I would not have enough time to name every person who works on a project. And this is a wonderful life, almost in a miniature, when you do a project like this. And living in your beautiful Big Bear with ocean air, Malibu Lake, being part of creating different, lives through your work and editing. So good for you. You've done really well in your life. Your father would have been very proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, one of the gratification that we get as not only editors, but just anybody in the creative business, whether you're a musician, a writer, an actor, it doesn't matter, a producer, director, is that what you work on gets to live on.
Mm-hmm.
Not only are you entertaining a decent amount of people watching your work, and hopefully they're enjoying what you've done. But the other thing is, it kind of leaves its mark, and it lives on. And so that's the gratification we kind of get in the creative field, all of us. And that's a huge reward for what we do.
Yes, we are all part of this huge human library.
Yes, absolutely. To have your work live on is just it's an amazing feeling. And and I'm, like I said, I'm a small part of a big process, but when you see the legends that have left their works behind in music and film and and books and writing, it's an amazing feeling for everyone to have their work live on, even once it's gone from this world.
Yes, so true. Well, thank you so much for your time, Ramin, and for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. And until next time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. And it's been a pleasure to speak with you. And thanks for having me on.
Of course, the pleasure was all mine. Until next time.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Ramin.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for tuning in to feel and experience Malibu Lake with my special guest, Ramin Mortazavi. If you enjoy my podcast, In the Mood for California, please sign up for future episodes at your preferred platform, and please leave your feedback. I really appreciate your time and support. You can follow me on Instagram at In the Mood for California, and check out my website, www.inthemoodforcalifornia.com. Selling and buying homes with soul is not just my real estate strategy. It's an intuitive and holistic approach that embraces your values, aspirations, and conscious intentions. If you want to discover the power of mindfulness in your real estate journey with my compassionate guidance, I'm here for you. Next time, we'll journey into the heart of West Hollywood, where the history of the LGBTQ community has shaped the neighborhood into the vibrant haven it is today. From its early days as a refuge to its role as a beacon of pride and activism, West Hollywood's story is one of resilience and transformation. I can't wait to share the rich history and spirit of this iconic area with you.
In the Mood for California, feel the soul of Old Hollywood.